And call the July 15, 2025 City Council meeting to order. It's 6 o'clock p.m. and I like to start on time and finish even earlier if we can. But we'll do what we need to, but it is 6 o'clock. It's good to see everybody. Hope everybody's air conditioning is working. Hope it continues to work. And I understand we didn't get any rain here today, but we got some in Lebanon. We got a heck of a rain yesterday down there. That's neither here nor there. If you'll bow with me, we'll have a word of prayer and then we'll go forward. Our Father in heaven, we're thankful for another day of life and opportunity to gather. We're thankful to live in a free country, thankful to live in this community, and thankful for the people we're able to live around. We pray that you'll be with all our employees and our folks that serve in public service, that you'll just bless them, bless their families. Sometimes it's not the easiest thing in the world, and certainly not on families. And we ask a special blessing on those that are sick. I pray for someone here in this community that's facing some very serious health issues, and a young man in Lebanon who has fought health issues all his life, and he is back in the hospital today, but the good report I got this afternoon is good. So. Thank you for everything you do for us. We ask that you go with us now and forgive us of our sins. Amen. Amen. All right, got a set of minutes. You actually got two sets, so we probably need to do them one at a time. Got June 17, that was the longer meeting of the two. Have y'all had a chance to look at it?
I'll make a motion to approve those.
Good man. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, got a motion and a second. Any discussion on that set of minutes? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Minutes unanimously approved. And then the special call meeting that we held on June the 30th, need to approve those minutes as well.
So moved.
Thank you. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion on those? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, I'll let you know that from those two meetings we adopted our budget and tax rate, and April sent that in yesterday on the portal to the comptroller's office, and they have accepted the budget. That doesn't mean they've approved it. What they'll do is send back and say, we need you to do this and do this, and we'll be prepared to do it. But it's down there in a timely manner, so they can't fuss at us for that. All right, we're at that stage of the meeting. We try to do it very early in the process. For anybody that'd like to discuss any items of public business or make a comment, now's the time to do it. So feel free to step to the microphone and address the council.
May I?
Yes, sir. Come on up.
Good evening. I just wanted to let you all know very briefly about the event this weekend.
Yes.
We have a train event coming in. About 500 people will be coming in, and we have our music festival. Chris has been great in helping us get some of the music lined out for this and for the Bluegrass Festival. So we don't expect that there'll be a lot of, there'll be at least, what, 2 bands, or do we have word on the third yet? So we had, we'll have 3 different bands here. For those who do not know, the Austin Boys is basically Senator Jack Johnson's band, and he's doing that gratis for us at the thing tomorrow on Saturday. So train will arrive. We're going to have events music running from 11 to 1, somewhere in there. And then we'll take care of it. We have 2 vendor trucks that have expressed an interest in being in the plaza with us, and with your permission, we'd like to set them over in front of the old City Hall, if there's no problem with that. Other than that, I don't have anything except to tell you that the Bluegrass Festival is also going to be really quite something. We have a lot of interest in that, and some great things are happening with the mile-long yard sale. I mean, there's some really exciting things that are going to be happening for our fall. We feel like some of that stuff could have been done better, and we're working on some things, and we've got sponsorships, and it's just going to go, it's going to be a lot bigger deal, I think, than we've seen in recent days. There's one other thing I want to bring to your attention. Nothing except that the chamber continues to be at your disposal if you need anything, if you have any questions. If there's somebody in town who knows how to find me, or you know where I live, just up the street.
Oh, I appreciate that. Let me ask Is everything worked out for the square this Saturday? How it's lined up and, I mean, where the stage is gonna be? I thought I heard some questioning about that a couple of weeks ago.
I think the stage is gonna be in the gazebo, so they're not gonna shut down anything.
Okay.
Except for the 3 parking spots right in front of the gazebo.
Okay.
But it shouldn't hurt any of our merchants. And then what he just said about the food vendors.
Well, we had one vendor, and then just today, somebody else had expressed an interest in barbecue. It doesn't seem like it competes with any of our existing restaurants, so we're happy to support that. And so we have just told them that they'll be over there by the old city hall, and they won't be requiring any electricity or utilities, they'll bring their own.
Okay. Any questions from any of them? All right, thank you for that. Thank you for what the chamber is doing. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. We're not gonna have a meeting without you speaking. If you hadn't raised your hand, I would have called on you.
I wondered. I'm Dina Dowd. I coordinated the parade for 4th of July this year. It went very well. God bless everybody that attended and everybody that helped. And it was a great team effort and it worked out quite well. But Jim Amaro had the best time of anybody. He was sitting in the back of that Tesla that was driven by my neighbor Joseph. And you could have seen him grin from ear to ear from here to Texas. But anyway, so that was wonderful. Vicki Vaughn from General Sign Services also took photographs of this one. This time she took a video. She's going to try to get together with Mike Stoffel and see if we can't get that somehow out in the public instead of just on her Facebook. So that'll be exciting so people can see. I had some phone calls from folks that recently moved here and wanted to know what it was about. And I said, do you have to be in the parade in order to use a squirt gun? Oh no, I told her this is a crossfire event. You need to be prepared.
I wish you hadn't told them.
And so I'm assuming she came. So it was great, and I appreciate everybody letting me play and then God healing me up so next year we're going to want a new coordinator, so I need some volunteers.
And you and I talked about up there, keep an open mind.
And I would like to get somebody in training so, we can go do some other things we need to do.
Don't sound like our
God
mind's
bless
real open.
Watertown. I really love y'all. Thank you so much.
We love you too, and thank you for what you did. I had it on my agenda later to talk about, and I'll just go ahead now and say I thought the parade was outstanding. And I thought, it's hard to judge crowd size, but I don't know that we've had a parade that had any fewer people than this one. And by the amount of water that I got hit with, I think it was the biggest. And also the fireworks show was outstanding.
Oh, we did have some unruly people at the end for the no squirt zone. Now, here's the thing. The 2 girls I had going was my granddaughter and Emily Nix's daughter, Mary. And the 2 of them held up their no squirt zone sign, which God bless Donna Delma, she got prepared on time. And they said, why? Why is there a no squirt zone? And I can't think of being able to put it out more than we did. It went out on every news source we have available. And so they got squirted. Now, I think shippers might have got missed, that there were only 2 people in the no squirt zone.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Donna Delmas told me that they both have done it over the years, either in the front or in the back, and everybody was just wound up and raring to go and couldn't control themselves. So there's that.
Well, there's also some that push the envelope. I put in my article that, no garden hose as well. That's like telling a kid not to get in the cookie jar.
Yeah.
I got hit
Don't go
with at
chase
least
that puppy across the street.
5 garden hoses. So, but, it's actually for the kids, the little kids.
It may be that we'll have to advertise it in the future as just a squirt parade. And I'd like to see Independence Day a little more well mentioned in this event rather than just a free-for-all crazy of time, but actually to appreciate why we got the 4th of July in our Declaration of Independence. So that's it for me.
But it was good.
I wanted to bring it while we're talking about that. The old football practice field.
Mm-hmm.
that water is still on and someone had a hose pipe attached to that water.
Did Bob talk, we talked about that yesterday up there.
Okay.
He get that taken care of?
Okay, thank you, that's it.
Next year, we may well put our music festival after the parade to keep people in town a little longer.
It's a great idea.
I don't know why we haven't thought about that before, but it's something we're gonna discuss.
That-
I'll offer the fact that we don't staff the Abbott House on that day, so you'll have to manage that.
Okay.
And then that'll be no.
Works, whatever needs to be
Because you
worked
want
out,
to
but
keep
that's
people
all
in
next
town, you
year.
gotta give them
But
someplace
that
to go.
could be done, and I can remember, as a younger man, and some of y'all here, younger women, as younger women, remember we had political rallies on the 4th of July, and it was very well attended. Of course, that wasn't every year because we didn't have races, but that's a good idea, to keep them on the square.
Dessert auction with the political rally.
Yeah, the shakedown.
Yep, look at that.
All right, anybody else want to address us on public? Okay, thank you. Appreciate you being here. And we'll move on to our reports. Dale here? Oh, there you are. How'd I miss you, Dale? You're first in the line tonight.
Sure. We did have an exceedance in our nitrogen annual rolling average limit last month. I mentioned it, kind of explained it a little bit in the report. I don't know if you guys have any questions for me on that or not. It's self-explanatory maybe. Other than that, that's all I have for you.
Anybody got any questions for Dale of that? He starts talking this technical stuff and I just get out of the way and let him handle it. But if you have questions, he's good to answer them.
If we have too much nitrogen, like we had, what is that consequences on it, or how does it?
That's for the state can impose consequences. As far as the nitrogen limits, they were put in place when we went into this consent order. They were put in place to protect the Gulf of Mexico is what they were put in place for. That's why the state started implementing nitrogen and phosphorus limits.
Gulf of America.
Right.
Okay, all right, so the EPA would fine us if we continue to go over though.
They may, that's, like I said, we're still operating under this order, and a part of this order was to, work on making it compliant with the nitrogen and phosphorus limits, so.
All right, thanks.
Other questions of Dave? All right, thank you, Dave. Chief Hinderlight, you're second tonight. Did you get back from Chattanooga, obviously?
Well, something come up, I get to go to the cold one.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry you didn't get to go.
It's okay. What up? Any questions for me on the stats?
Did you get taller?
I am getting taller and bigger. Don't say anything, Mayor.
It's always fun to be among friends,
Yeah. The one thing that I do, and I meant to put this out, but we are going to have to probably strictly enforce the parking and stuff on Newtown Road during the school stuff. It's really becoming a problem. Of course, you can't park there anyway, and I thought that what I would bring up tonight, because it'll probably prompt phone calls and texts to you all, is putting some signs up through there, no parking. I've met with the principal. She said it's a Homeland Security issue about using the parking lot, but we were able to get that worked out with your help a year and a half ago here at the middle school, and it worked. And again, we may have to figure out a plan to use that upper parking lot, especially if the building and stuff takes effect. You'll never be able to get a concrete truck up and down through there, and there'll be wrecks, and it's just not a safe environment. And now they're starting to park down the other side, and they're showing up at 11 o'clock. So that, we are going to have to, he's going to prompt some phone calls, but they can't park there at 11 o'clock.
Can we give some warnings?
Yes, and then the school put out something. She never sent me what she put out, but she did send me a text that she had put a flyer or something out at the end of the school that, hey, there's going to be some not going to be able to park on the road, and don't show up before 12:30 if you're coming to get your kid, because there's a lady that shows up at 11, and they followed over who had first spot.
I brought this same thing up when this started, if you remember,
Yes, sir.
about the concrete trucks and all going up that road, and the school kids and the parents. And if I'm not mistaken, the guy stood right there and said, "We will take care of that." And he lied evidently.
Well, I'm not gonna tell you that he didn't tell the truth, but what I am gonna tell you is that, we had an emergency come up before school let out, required lights and sirens. I couldn't get through in my pickup truck that I drive.
But we need to get
Because it went over the
him,
hill. It didn't have anything to do with construction, you just couldn't get through.
He ain't doing anything of it. They have not
You know,
started
so
construction of it.
It's a problem just for
This is just school traffic.
school traffic,
Well,
and
it's not
normal flow of
concrete
traffic.
traffic, it's
And then we
school
had
traffic.
several videos that were sent to me, people that come to pick up their kids at 11:30 and let their kids play in yards and leave their trash and stuff there. And, you know, at the end of the day,
It's a narrow road.
yeah, it is. You know, and I'm just trying to look ahead.
Could we maybe reach out to Rick Burns at Round Lake about using their parking lot?
So that would, that would be an amazing thing, but, you know, I would imagine what I have been told before was liability purposes. And, you know, there's nobody up there to direct it, people in and out. So, I mean, I don't know that, I mean, it would be great, but I don't know that that would work either. And one of the other things that we're gonna have to think about too is, you know, when incidents happen, staging and all that stuff. And if you've got 30 people lined up, you know, when we had that, it was a hoax, thank the Lord, but, you know, we had all the parents and everybody over here in the parking lot at the church. Well, something went wrong. It was, now I've got 500 people, so, you know, I'm working on plans for that. But, you know, at the end of the day, the principal's been very nice, you know, but we are gonna have to do something because it's a problem, not even for construction, it's a problem of getting through, period.
Yep.
You know, so, you know, now that they're parking on the downside of it, that was a problem.
Growing pains.
Yes, it's nothing we can't get through, but I just wanted to say that because she did put out something. She didn't send me exactly what she put out, but I had to say no parking because that was the whole issue of that. And the last thing, I asked Bob today to repaint some of the no parking on the roadways of Pearl and Main that had always been, but had kind of rubbed off.
Okay.
And what's happening is the Hispanic restaurant, you know, they had parking spaces, and now you got people parking over here at Robertson's place, and, you know, and then you have that telephone pole there on the right. When you turn out, well, you just about have to pull out, period, into the other lane.
Yep.
And when people are parking in front of their business, which is not open, but it's his, and he can come when he wants. So I've asked Bob to repaint
Okay.
the no parking that's in front and on the side.
Okay.
And I just wanted council to know that it's nothing new. It's been there for years. It just needs to be redone.
I think Bob's about to go on vacation. You got that, Cody? You take care of that?
Yeah, I got the paint for it last week, so they were just going to bear with us while the paint, not trying to
Yeah. And maybe, you know, again, we need to revisit it, but we really do need to work out something about Newtown and the traffic. You know, I don't know the 100% answer. The answer to me is put them in the parking lot, but that may not be a school, it may be a school thing, but we definitely need to have some kind of resolve that would benefit everybody.
Have we had discussions with anybody at the school system, not just the principal, but where they coordinate all of, you know?
Well, the last time.
We have terrible problems here, but we don't have West Elementary problems.
Oh, no, we do not.
And, people say it's the worst traffic ever. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's not even close. Some places, yeah. But it's still a problem.
Yes.
And,
I usually leave that to you.
Can't think of that gentleman's name who's over the emergency system.
Steve Spencer,
Steve Spencer.
Yeah.
That's who we need to reach out to.
Well, I mean, I speak to him every day.
he's worked well with us.
Yeah.
He will come up and kind of look at, that's what he did for the middle school.
Yes.
He and Mr. Litchell came up and, at that time, the bus director at that time came up and looked at and designed a plan that was best.
Yeah.
So the three of them just need to get involved.
Well, they have been,
Yeah.
just,
Well,
not as quick as what I wanted to, but they have other issues too.
The first week will be terrible because everybody will come at once and they'll wait till 10 minutes before they're supposed to be at work and then wonder why they can't get out. And I'm sorry, but you know, and then it works itself out. Not perfectly, but people
Well,
learn how to adjust.
It's been a lot better since we were able to get to middle school and that took it off that road.
That really helps. It
So,
does.
you know, I'm just, again, I'm trying to look ahead and, you know, we can we can stop the other direction. We can just say, hey, you can't park over here, period. You know, but there does need to be communications and some stuff put out just so people's not blindsided.
Mike, while you're marking that off down there, we need to do something about right across from the hardware store, right there on the corner of the Mexican restaurant. If a big truck parks there, you cannot see to get out.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can
Yeah,
figure out what to do, but it's a problem there.
Yeah, I was down there today about an hour just looking and watching and, you know, this is a sore subject with most of the people. You know, I have places to park over here and if somebody's in my spot, I ask them to move. I don't really have a spot, but, you know, if you go and say, hey, I know we'll take care of the problem, you got, you know, the Hispanic folks, you know, you say, hey, you lose one parking space, everybody goes nuts. Because if you lose one parking space, it hurts them per se, but yet it puts you back about 16 more feet than you have, then you can really see.
You got a sight line at that.
Yeah, but, you know, to me, that would be, you know, like I was over there today and a gentleman come in, he's in a four-door truck, extended bed. He parked in the parking space on the side and his bumper was about 12 inches out in the roadway, just by normal parking. So, you know, I don't know if, I guess vehicles may be longer than what they used to be, I don't know. But, you know, that's another thing, it'd be like, then they would be like, well, I can't drive my truck to town no more because it's too big. So I don't, you know, the answer is you lose the space and then that's not feasible because we don't have enough parking now. But yes, I did look at it and that is an issue and that's part of the issue with right there on that one corner because people are parking in that parking lot. If you park in the parking lot next to the pole, you really can't see.
Yeah.
So, yes, sir, but yes, I will try to devise something.
Other questions? All right, thank you, Chief.
Thanks.
I neglected a while ago, like I always do, was there anybody out there in TV land that wanted to talk during public comment? Was there anybody out there? Okay, good. I forget that every time I make a note not to, and then I do. Chief, how are you?
I'm wonderful.
Congratulations, you're in order, I understand.
Thank you, sir. I don't have much for you tonight. We had 36 calls last month. We did replace a starter on the brush truck. It kind of been giving us some trouble lately, and we had crossed our fingers and prayed, and it held through till after July 1, and it gave out, so we got that replaced. And working on a few things, some brakes, and kind of here and there. We've got a recruit class starting in August. We've got 3 coming in for that. And so we're in good shape as far as personnel, but in the volunteer world, a lot of times that changes, and so we try to stay on top of it to anticipate some of that.
Any free money out there we can get?
We're still looking.
Good,
Always.
good. Any questions of Chief? All right. Thank you. Okay, got a few items of business tonight. Hope they won't take terribly long, but I usually give you a report on our projects. Well, let me do I'll do those now. On the sewer project, we have received pay request number 12 and paid it. The total sewer contract is $5,382,910. Right now, the amount that's been expended is $3,019,624.86. Our bond proceeds continue to draw monthly interest at the local government investment pool, and we receive a monthly statement of that. So that's gonna be a nice thing to have. It's not gonna pay the debt back, of course, obviously, but it will cover some expenses. Any questions on the sewer project?
Do they have a ETA on there, on that road? Just the main road they keep digging?
I keep asking that question. They keep telling me they're farther along, so I don't know. Bob said
I've
they had
seen
one more
something.
manhole to go to, so I don't know what that means.
Yeah. Because I seen it's got past party section on the little building area, so they are moving, but, you know.
And Bob told me today they gotta go across that creek in 3 places, and they gotta wait till it dries out. And usually this time of year it's dry, but it's not now.
Any idea when they're gonna start work on the other side of the creek?
No, I don't know that. I did see the gentleman that sold us the easement on the other side, on the north side of the square at Shoney's the other day at the salad bar, and I asked him if the folks were doing what they said they'd do, and he said yes, but he hadn't had a lot of interaction because they weren't on that side of the creek yet, but he seemed okay with it. Water projects, TDEC, Division of Water Resources, has issued the approval letter for what they are referring to as water treatment plant improvements. That letter is dated July 2, 2025. Our engineer, architect, has put out qualifications for a firm to conduct a comprehensive water system evaluation to quantify water loss through the use of temporary flow metering devices and to install 2 permanent zone meters in accordance with the design plans and that was a Tuesday, July 8 deadline for submittal. I've not received anything further on that. I think the only one that came in was water management. The water storage tank project has been bid and the award was made to Curran's Construction. Actually, that happened before our last meeting. And then the last word I had from Matthew Rye of Rye Engineering is that they've looked at the meter site locations and are ready to start the process to order the boxes and equipment. What that's going to do, as I understand it, y'all may understand it better than I do, and I don't doubt that one bit, but it's going to help us to identify water loss areas so that we can deal with it. And segueing into that, I've got to be in front of the Tennessee Board of Utility Regulation Thursday morning at 10 o'clock to answer questions about that. And I've been wanting to appear in front of them for 2 years, and they told me that I couldn't. And now they've subpoenaed me. For the first time in 45 years, I've been subpoenaed. So I got to show up. And I'll be glad to do that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We'll deal with that. Street paving. I had a 40-minute Zoom meeting with Brett Boberg of the Government Accountability Office, and she was asking me questions about our project. These questions were more in the context of a survey. But yesterday I had a telephone interview with Eileen Barnhart of the HUD Congressional Grants Division, and we discussed the status of our grant, and she says there are no issues. We do have to give performance reports on a regular basis. The performance reports right now are nothing's going on until we can get the water and sewer thing done. And I asked her if that was a problem. She said it was not. And finally, on the turntable, you've got a request tonight to approve a contract with CSR Engineering for engineering services related to the Chrissy grant that we're getting from the federal government, that $1.6 million. I will recommend that to you, and we'll vote on it here in a few minutes, hopefully. But I've worked with Kevin Walker for many years. He does all the work for the railroad up and down the 4 counties, and he also does work for many railroads. This is pretty much his expertise, and I have no problem when it comes time to recommending that. So, anybody got any questions on any of that? Yep. You got anything? Nothing? Okay. If something comes in, let me know. Okay.
I do have this. Sure. I was looking through this. Is there a total amount associated with this contract?
He didn't add it up, but I think in my head
see.
it was like $122,500, I think.
Okay.
But I didn't see a total in there either. I just took how he broke it down and added it up in my head.
Okay.
Any other questions on that? Okay. You have a budget report for last year through June 30. Let me caution you about that. Still some things to be decided. I'm looking for my notes here. The budget amendment, or the budget that we have, does not include the amendment that we adopted last time, including the art money. Some year-end expenses are not included. In fact, I just paid one today that came in that was bought in June, but we just got the bill, so it'll go to last year's budget. And then the bank statements for this month have not been reconciled yet, so those figures could change a little bit. But
Did we get a budget statement today?
what?
Did we get a budget statement today?
I've got one dated July the 2nd, I thought.
Okay, yeah, that was,
Yeah, that's what I'm working
that
from.
was the last one.
On last year's, and then there was one that came in yesterday on this year, and of course, it's only 14 days into the year, so way too early to
Yeah.
identify any trends, anything there, so. Any questions on that? Okay, you have a resolution there that we are asked by the Kiwanis Club in Lebanon to join in approval of the day of prayer for our schools. They designate Sunday, July 27, the Sunday before school starts, and they ask the governments and the churches all over the county to support this. It began after the Columbine incident in 1999 out in Littleton, Colorado. And so I will certainly recommend that to you, and I hope we will approve it right now.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Discussion? Okay, if not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? I didn't think so. Back to that engineering services grant. I did get something in today. Steve, you may have seen it. It came in today too, sometime this morning, I think, where the folks overseeing it, that we have the monthly meeting, have returned our preliminary engineering report.
Right.
Pretty early.
I think there were 4 items on there that we need to respond to.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
So, and that's what Kevin does for us. So, I'll recommend this contract to you tonight, please.
I make a motion that we accept the contract as presented from CSR Engineering.
I'll second.
Discussion on that? Anywhere? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous? I would like to attend the Tennessee Municipal League Conference this year in Chattanooga, if y'all will allow me. Last year you allowed me to go to the one in Knoxville. It's August the 2nd through the 5th. I'd like to ask you to approve the, what's the word I'm looking for? The cost to go to the conference.
Is the conference in the hotel, is that what we're covering?
Yeah, it's in a convention center, and then there'd be 3 nights lodging if you will allow me to do that. And as always, I will tell you that any of the 6 of you, or all of you that want to attend, I'm fine with it. It's a good program. So I'd like for you
Since
to.
last year, didn't we do like 1,500, not to exceed 1,500?
I don't remember, but I don't want to spend anything other than the registration fee. I finally found the word, and the hotel. That's all I want. I'll take care of my own food. I'm going to eat wherever I'm at, so there's no sense y'all paying for me to eat. And I'll take care of the gas, drive my car, and do that. I just would like for you to pay for me to not have to sleep on the streets.
Yes, I'll make a motion for us to agree for you to attend the conference for registration and lodging.
Okay. So second. Does anybody else want to go? Okay, if you do, let me know. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank y'all. The only other item on here I put, Mr. Wilson basically covered it. I put up just a broad category of square issues, and the only reason I put it on there was because I'd heard some rumbling about where the stage was going to be, and y'all said that a while ago.
I think we've got that worked out with Mr. Jennings.
Yep, but I don't have anything else then. I'll I'll go to some informational items. Again, I want to thank everybody who helped the 4th of July parade and the fireworks show successful. And I hope you got to enjoy one or both of them. And our next regular meeting will be August the 19th, which is 5 weeks from tonight. You know, it seemed like we were meeting every other week there for a while. And now we're going to get a little break, and that suits me fine. But of course, we need to meet, we will. But other than that, that's all I've got. So we'll go around the table, and Miss April, you're up first.
I have nothing.
Mr. Caleb? Mr. Kyle?
Town hall building, I guess if they finished most of what they're doing, the old town hall building,
The what building?
the old town hall building.
Yeah.
Most everything's done there.
Yeah, I think y'all gonna work on that some, cleaning it out
Yes, sir,
tomorrow?
we're gonna start tomorrow. We're gonna get all the trash out of there and start cleaning it out. I'm gonna actually park in the front, load the dump truck full, and we just need to figure out where we need to put the documents that y'all want to save and the computer equipment. That's the only thing Bob had really asked about.
Have you been over there, Mr. Hinterlight?
So I went over there, took pictures, made a report. You know, at the end of the day, it's got the conditions of the environment are on and in the paperwork. You can't just clean a piece of paper. I'll make a report of the destruction of such. It doesn't give us the preview of just doing something else other than shred or burn, basically. But I had already made that one report, and when we dispose of it, I'll make that report. We had originally talked about maybe putting it in this container, which I don't have a problem with that, but you're just moving that contaminated stuff, paperwork-wise, into that. So, you know, that would just be something that y'all probably need to decide. I'll do a report and cover, you know, like records from X to X because of this. You know, there's always exigent circumstances. A lot of it is in the computer, and if it's 20 or 30 years old, we might not even be able to read it anyway, and then we can file paperwork with the court to forego any actions or whatever and release anything that's anyway. But
Is there anything in there you need?
no, sir. I went and took pictures sometime back, and like I said, attached it to the report as well.
But that stuff has to be in a closed section, make sure it is destroyed.
Yes, it needs to be shredded or burned or some type of destruction, not just
Yeah.
where somebody else could get it, because, you know, they might be able to get the one that social security
Yeah.
number off of it, and it'd be
Yeah.
for us.
I would say fire, like burn pit, probably the easiest way to dispose of that.
We get it disposed of
Yeah.
sometime.
I want something out of there.
Do what?
I want something out of here for this container. The flags have not been stored properly that we used to put out on the square. I bought 20 last year, there was barely 10 left, Tim had to buy some more. And the 2 of them fell off, and I picked them up off the street in the square and brought them down to the city building, the workers building. And, but there's a gun cabinet in there. If the doors are functional, I'd like to put it over here and use it for flag storage.
Would that be the?
There's a cabinet in, and when you first go in the door, it's on the left, around corner, and that little back right there. Yeah, if that cabinet's in good working order, I'd like to use it to store the flags, so they can be kept respectfully, they have not been.
And we're gonna take down some flags probably next week.
That's what I was concerned about, having a place to put them.
Yeah, we're just missing busy right now, we ain't had time.
Well, we're not in a hurry, we need a place to put them first.
But yeah, I'll get up there and get that cabin down. In good shape.
Okay. Thank you. I already picked everything else out of there that we would see.
For me?
Before we go any further, I neglected to say a while ago, I attended last Thursday in Sparta, what they call the Middle Tennessee Mayor's Meeting. I've never been. There were 17 mayors there, counting myself. And it was kind of interesting to hear some of the issues that they face. Some of them talk too long, but you know, that happens. I do that as well. But the one common theme among everybody, they need money. They ain't got enough money to do what they want to. And but I've never seen the government yet that had all the money it needed. So, and I don't think any of us would. But anyway, they're going to meet quarterly, and I'm going to try to make those. It is a good network type thing. Okay, Ms. Laura.
Good.
What?
I already said my one thing. Come on.
You
let's
believe
get
that?
out Here. We're gonna be good.
Steve?
I've only got one thing. I don't know if it was a year and a half, 2 years ago, we voted and approved the contract with MTS about putting our codes and regulations online.
Yeah.
There are online, you can get to them, but they're extremely outdated. And I know we've made several changes in the last year and a half or so, including a dog ordinance, a food truck ordinance, and we just adopted building codes last month. So we need to, what's involved about getting that update? We need to follow up and get the updates submitted on that, I think, because we've had a lot of changes that need to be available to the public.
Do you remember where we were on that, April?
The last time we sent it in, they review it and then they type it up and then send it back to us to review. I think
Is that what's in there on my desk? Okay. That's where it is. Now, the things Steve's talked about, the new things, because we have done several things last.
yes, we have to do what's in there first and then we go to the next section for the updated one.
Okay.
Because they have them, they're just waiting to get that back.
There are some old things in there that were adopted 60, 70 years ago that are very much outdated.
And then once he sends that in, and then we'll send it to, Visionary too, and they can update it on the site, is that how we do it?
Yeah, I need to read through it, and I haven't, but
I mean, if we can get that, I don't know, I mean, can we divvy it up and any of us help you go through that, or?
y'all welcome to get a copy and read it off if you want to. It certainly doesn't bother me.
Anyway, I think we need to be a little bit more proactive about trying to get that updated, especially with all the new stuff we've done in the last year or so that we need to get out there for.
Keep in mind, we can't just go in there and if it's something we don't like or it's too old, tear it up. We have to.
I totally understand.
Yeah. There's a process. But yeah, anybody gets in there and you want a copy and anybody wants it, have at it. Because I've been promising to read it and I haven't, so wear sackcloth and ashes here.
Give me a copy of it and I'll try to stamp a piece on
Split it up by chapters.
Okay.
That way we have it on, just identified instead
It's
of,
about that thick.
that'll take a while, we'll do it.
May even be front and back, I'm not sure. All right.
That's it.
Anything?
I've had a couple of phone calls, Mike, from down on Commerce Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
It's some kids down there that's creating some problems.
Yeah, I put when I say post, I mean inner department, out to all the people today. I spoke with David, I'm gonna pull my trailer over there
Yeah, David was one of them.
tomorrow. I was gonna do it today, but I went over today to see where I could put it. We've spoken with the kids, my guys have spoken with the parent. That doesn't always mean that that's what the parent will do is enforce it, but, yes, I was.
I don't think it's anything real bad, but it's just a lot of mischief. And some of it's pretty ugly.
Yes, you're accurate.
So if you could check on that.
Yes, sir.
That's it. That's it.
Anybody? Anybody out in TV land? Good. Surprise. Okay, y'all ready to go?
Motion to adjourn?
We're adjourned.